In June of 2014, the world of women's combat sports was treated to one of the most thrilling and talked-about matchups in recent history. It was a clash between two young, incredibly talented fighters, Dakota Dicha and Georgina Vander Lindon. The fight promised intensity even before the fighters stepped into the ring, as the Dutch contender, Georgina Vander Lindon, had openly declared in interviews that she intended to destroy Dakota Dicha. Her confidence was palpable, radiating from her words in the Dutch language as she told anyone who would listen that Dakota would be no match for her. Georgina believed that her aggressive Dutch kickboxing style, coupled with her power and precision, would easily overpower Dakota, ending her hype and marking a significant moment in her own career. However, what Georgina did not realize was the depth of skill, power, and composure that Dakota possessed. Dakota Dicha was not just another young fighter. She was a prodigy in the making, with a keen fight IQ, remarkable speed, and a tactical approach that made her a nightmare for aggressive fighters who relied solely on raw power and forward pressure. From the moment the fighters entered the ring, it was clear that this would not be an ordinary fight. The energy in the arena was electric, with fans buzzing in anticipation of what promised to be a memorable battle. The opening bell marked the beginning of round one, and Dakota Dicha immediately took control of the center of the ring. Unlike many young fighters who succumbed to nerves, Dakota displayed a calm and composed demeanor. She used her movement expertly, circling Georgina and maintaining a strategic distance that allowed her to pick her shots carefully. Her signature speed and precision became evident almost instantly, as she landed sharp jabs that snapped Georgina's head back and leg kicks that began to disrupt her rhythm. Georgina, true to her aggressive Dutch roots, came forward relentlessly. She threw heavy combinations, attempting to force Dakota into the corners and pressure her early in the fight. Her intent was clear: take control from the outset and show dominance. Yet, despite the power behind Georgina's strikes, Dakota's defense and movement rendered many of them ineffective. She slipped punches with remarkable timing, countered effectively, and utilized her kicks to keep Georgina at bay. It became evident early that this fight would not be one-sided, despite Georgina's confident predictions. During the first round, there were moments of intense engagement where both fighters tested each other's defenses in the clinch. Dakota showed remarkable poise, blending her counters with defensive maneuvers and even engaging in brief exchanges in the clinch, where her timing and awareness shone through. Georgina, aggressive and relentless, attempted to assert herself, but each attack was met with calculated responses from Dakota. By the end of the round, Dakota had successfully dictated the pace, leaving Georgina slightly frustrated and off rhythm. The young Dutch fighter's early dominance had been checked, and the audience could already sense the shift in momentum. Round 2 saw Georgina Vander Lindon attempt to regain control. After losing the opener in relative comfort, she came out swinging with renewed determination. Her strategy focused on closing the distance and forcing Dakota into exchanges where her aggressive combinations could do damage. She was aware that she needed a statement round to change the narrative and prove her earlier words were not empty boasts. Georgina threw heavy shots, trying to overwhelm Dakota with volume and power. Yet Dakota, composed and intelligent, remained calm. She slipped and countered punches with precise timing, using her footwork to create angles and opportunities that Georgina struggled to anticipate. Halfway through the second round, Dakota landed a particularly crisp right hand that seemed to rattle Georgina. She followed this up with a spinning back kick, a move that demonstrated both her technical skill and her confidence in the ring. The crowd erupted in appreciation, sensing that Dakota was not only surviving the pressure but beginning to assert dominance over an opponent who had arrived with a bold, aggressive plan. Georgina stayed on her feet, refusing to yield, showcasing the toughness typical of Dutch fighters. But the accuracy and timing of Dakota's strikes were visibly wearing her down. During these early exchanges, it became clear that Dakota's superior conditioning and fight IQ were becoming decisive factors. She was not just reacting to Georgina's aggression, she was controlling it, shaping the fight in her favor. Dakota's use of distance, combined with her counterstriking and strategic leg kicks, began to take a visible toll on Georgina. The Dutch fighter, once confident and full of energy, started to show signs of fatigue. Her punches lost some of their snap, and her footwork became less fluid. Dakota's patience and composure allowed her to capitalize on these small openings, landing strikes that further asserted her control over the fight. Round 3 was where Dakota truly shifted gears. She began mixing up her attacks, incorporating body kicks and tap kicks that served multiple purposes, keeping Georgina at range, scoring points, and setting up her combinations. Every time Georgina attempted to close the distance, Dakota met her with a stiff jab or a punishing leg kick. The difference in fight IQ between the two fighters became increasingly evident. Dakota was not simply trying to hit Georgina, she was controlling the rhythm, dictating the exchanges, and forcing Georgina to fight on her terms. Georgina, despite her aggressive approach, began to show cracks in her game. Her heart was evident, her willingness to engage unquestionable, but her body was beginning to betray her. Her punches slowed, her movement became predictable, and her energy waned. Meanwhile, Dakota's confidence only grew. She landed a head kick just before the bell, a strike that seemed to stun Georgina and draw audible gasps from the crowd. The momentum was clearly shifting. Dakota was asserting herself not through reckless aggression, but through superior technique, strategic planning, and mental composure. Round 4 saw Georgina attempt a late rally. She pushed forward, trying to corner Dakota and land combinations that could swing the fight in her favor. However, Dakota's defensive skills and clinch work neutralized these attempts. Every aggressive move from Georgina was met with a well-timed counter, sharp elbows in the clinch, and knees that further established Dakota's dominance. The Dutch fighter's exhaustion was evident. Her punches lacked the earlier force and precision. She was fighting purely with heart, refusing to concede, yet the tactical and technical advantage lay firmly with Dakota. The crowd continued to roar with excitement as they witnessed the back-and-forth exchanges, but it was clear that the young English fighter had gained full control. Dakota's use of knees and precise combinations in the clinch made it nearly impossible for Georgina to find openings. While the Dutch fighter continued to press forward, each attempt was met with a defensive wall that Dakota had built carefully throughout the fight. The audience could see the frustration and fatigue mounting on Georgina's face, a stark contrast to Dakota's composed and confident expression. By round 5, the final round, it was apparent that Dakota Dicha had firmly established herself as the superior fighter that evening. Both fighters gave their absolute all, but Dakota's dominance throughout the previous rounds had created a significant gap in performance. She controlled the pace, landed the more significant strikes, and maintained composure in situations where other fighters might have faltered. Georgina's determination remained admirable, but she was no longer able to threaten Dakota in any meaningful way. The fight was effectively decided before the final bell, though both fighters continued to engage with heart and aggression. As the bell rang, the crowd erupted in applause, acknowledging the skill, determination, and performance of both young fighters. The judges, in what many expected, awarded Dakota Dicha a unanimous decision. This victory was not merely about winning a fight, it was a statement. Dakota had proven that her skill, precision, and fight intelligence were on a level above her opponent. She had silenced the confident claims of Georgina Vander Lindon and demonstrated that talent, preparation, and tactical thinking could overcome raw aggression and bravado. Looking back on the fight, it becomes clear why this matchup is remembered as one of the most exciting and talked about moments in women's combat sports. Dakota Dicha displayed an incredible blend of technical proficiency, strategic insight, and mental toughness that belied her young age. Every round highlighted her ability to read her opponent, adjust her tactics, and execute her game plan with precision. In contrast, Georgina Vander Lindon, despite her aggressive approach and undeniable toughness, was outmatched by Dakota's combination of speed, timing, and fight intelligence. This fight also serves as an example of how youth and talent in combat sports can manifest in extraordinary ways. Dakota, at just 16, faced a strong and experienced opponent and did not merely survive, she dominated. Her performance was a masterclass in patience, timing, and tactical execution. The audience witnessed not just physical skill but a mental game that allowed Dakota to control every aspect of the fight. Her ability to mix strikes, use the clinch effectively, and maintain composure under pressure set her apart as a fighter destined for greatness. Georgina's confidence, which had been evident in pre-fight interviews, became her undoing. Her aggressive style, while initially threatening, could not overcome the precise counters, movement, and strategic planning that Dakota employed. Each bold claim she made about destroying Dakota was turned on its head as the fight unfolded. By the later rounds, it was clear that Georgina was operating purely on determination and willpower, rather than technical skill or tactical awareness. This contrast highlighted the critical importance of fight intelligence and preparation in combat sports, even among highly talented young athletes. The broader implications of this fight extend beyond the outcome itself. It showcased the rising level of talent in women's combat sports, particularly among young fighters. Dakota Dicha's performance became a benchmark for what could be achieved through disciplined training, strategic thinking, and natural talent. It also underscored the unpredictability and excitement inherent in combat sports, where even confident pre-fight predictions can be upended by superior skill and preparation. Fans who witnessed the fight continue to talk about it because of the combination of technical mastery, heart, and excitement that both fighters brought to the ring. The exchanges, the counters, the clinch work, and the dynamic pace made it a memorable spectacle. Dakota's ability to dominate every round while maintaining composure and precision ensured that this fight would be studied and celebrated in combat sports circles for years to come. Ultimately, the fight between Dakota Dicha and Georgina Vander Lindon is remembered not only for the action inside the ring but also for the statement it made about talent, preparation, and the power of composure under pressure. Dakota's victory was comprehensive and commanding, proving that she was not just a promising prospect but a fighter with the skills, mentality, and determination to reach the very top of her sport. In conclusion, the June 2014 fight between Dakota Dicha and Georgina Vander Lindon stands as a remarkable example of what makes combat sports so compelling. It was a fight filled with skill, strategy, aggression, and determination. Dakota's victory by unanimous decision highlighted her superior technique, fight IQ, and composure, while Georgina's relentless aggression and courage provided a thrilling counterpoint that kept fans on the edge of their seats. This fight remains a testament to Dakota's potential and a reminder that in combat sports, confidence alone is never enough. As Dakota continues her journey in the sport, the lessons and experiences from this fight will undoubtedly shape her growth as a fighter. The way she handled pressure, read her opponent, and executed her strategy is a model for young athletes aiming to succeed at the highest level. For Georgina, the fight was a test of resilience, showcasing heart and determination even in the face of adversity. Both fighters left the ring with valuable lessons, but it was Dakota Dicha who emerged as the undeniable star of the evening, a fighter whose name would be remembered for years to come. In the end, the Dakota Dicha versus Georgina Vander Lindon fight was not just a battle of skill and strength. It was a display of mental toughness, strategic brilliance, and youthful talent that left a lasting impact on fans and the sport itself. Dakota's victory was decisive, her performance unforgettable, and her potential limitless. The fight remains a shining example of how preparation, composure, and tactical execution can triumph over raw aggression and confidence, leaving an indelible mark on the history of women's combat sports.